thank you so much for being on here, man. Being the first episode of the AI Creator Digest. I appreciate it for real.
Of course, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be the first guest.
Yes, sir. All right, Maverick. So you went from 0 to 100K followers in a little less than 90 days. And that is absolutely insane. First off, congratulations for your rise in the social media content creation space. But, and I quote, you said to me one thing that kind of stuck, that you weren't an AI expert or an AI genius. You just kind of went out there and started posting and learned AI as you kind of did it. So can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I still wouldn't, classify myself as any AI genius or whatever. I think that a lot of my strengths happen in the social media environment, being able to, create viral content that people want to watch, right? And
Right.
that's all that matters when you're, an influencer and you're a content creator. Um, but yeah, man, I started posting about 6 months now, and I've been able to grow to about 200,000 followers across Instagram and TikTok, which has been super awesome, and I'm so grateful. But yeah, man, I really didn't know anything about AI. Like I had obviously been using ChatGPT since 2022 when it originally came out,
Mhm.
and yeah, man, honestly, like, I still wouldn't classify myself as this like AI expert or anything, but as long as you know enough about what you're talking about and learn along the way, you can make content that people want to listen to. And at the end of the day, like, this is such a new space, and
Right.
when yeah, it's just such a new space, and no one really knows anything about it. So if you can be like 10% better than everyone else, you're going to sound like an expert, and you're going to sound like a genius, right? So that's kind of the
Right.
way I see it.
So what made you specifically choose AI? You could have talked about anything on the internet, but you chose 6 or so months ago to pursue this content career in AI. What kind of triggered that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just felt like it was one of those spaces that was just growing so rapidly, and I know we see it all over our feed right now, like AI
Right.
automation, and you see big guys in the space like Gary V and Dan Martell, guys that like are super big in like that personal brand space, talking about how valuable AI is right now. And I was like, man, I got to start something. I got to start creating content, and I could have chose a million other things, but AI was just one of those things. I'm tech. I come from like a background of being on the computer and playing video games and that type of
Right.
stuff, so I felt that AI was something that was exploding, and I could understand it really fast. Like my brain can grasp something like that.
Awesome. I also read that you worked like an SEO optimization analyst for a company.
Hmm.
Could you kind of talk on your experience there?
Yeah, for sure. So my parents own a company called Makesy.
Okay.
It's like a wholesale DIY company for like candle and soap making supplies.
Awesome.
And yeah, I did some SEO for them for a while. I worked for them for about a year, and that gave me a ton of experience, like on the back end of like SEMrush and AI, and just using. I mean, I even implemented a little bit of AI SEO for them, some, or whatever you call it, GEO,
Awesome.
AEO, like whatever you call it. But I did a bit of stuff for them and helping them rank on Google and in LLMs like ChatGPT by like optimizing their FAQs and their H1 and H2, and generating some Reddit and Quora posts for them all over the internet, some authoritative content. So that definitely helped them out.
Okay, so you had a little bit of some pre-exposure to the space
For
before
sure,
jumping
for
in as a
sure.
creator. Okay, that's
100%.
awesome. So take me back to that first viral video, that first one that popped off. Take me back to
Mhm.
that video. What was it? The creation process of creating it. Just walk me through that first viral video that took off and put you on the map and changed your life,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah, man. So I would say it was about my fifth video that I posted on TikTok. Actually, that's not true. It's probably my 10th video, and it was a prompt video, and it was basically like one of those ones where I have the green screen and it had the little prompt. I still post them to this day because they go so viral, and it was my
Right.
CIA prompt video. And I started off with something like, this ChatGPT prompt is feels illegal to know. I said something like that, and I really, that video really made me realize like how important the hook is when it comes to creating content, right? Because like that hook was so, I feel like, new at the time. People weren't really saying that about ChatGPT prompts, and I was kind of the one that I feel like revolutionized like that. This
For sure.
ChatGPT prompt is insane. This feels illegal. Like that was my thing, and it stuck. And from that point forward, I just started making videos really similar to it.
Awesome. That's awesome. So you had a
Yeah.
little bit of experience on the viral hook, knowing that that 3 seconds needs to be so crucial, and you had that one that popped off, and then I
Hmm.
met you close somewhere after that when you were around
Hmm.
like 70K. So I got to
Hmm.
watch you rise from that to where you are now. It's been amazing.
Dude, I appreciate that,
Truly
man.
amazing. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I'm
So
pretty sure I reached out to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I saw you up and coming. I still do that with a lot of up and coming AI creators. Like I'll see someone like at 10 or 20 or 30,000 followers, and I just love reaching out and hopping on calls, and obviously this leads to more stuff like this, and
For
you're
sure.
starting a podcast, and it's awesome, man.
Yes, sir. So there's going to be a lot of young people watching this, whether it's from clips or the long form. We're both young guys, and there are things that block young people, peer pressure, outsider syndrome, whatever you want to call it, from starting to post. And
Hmm.
you saw kind of your inexperience as an advantage. And how do you think, what would your advice be to young creators who are wanting to start out to get over that hump and complication of not wanting to feel outside or feeling like they're going to get, whether it's made fun of or whatever that might be? How would what would your advice be to those creators?
That's a good question, man. I would really just say like I know everyone says it, but you have to start somewhere, and you need to get over that fear. And whether it's talking to someone like me or you, people who have already gone through it and have just will just tell you straight up, like it doesn't matter. Like obviously, if you're a young person and you're still in school and you have friends that are going to say things, right? And
Right.
you're not in a good environment of people that want to support you, then yeah, man, people are going to say things, but you really just have to be able to get past that. I mean, I'm someone who can take that and kind of just blow it off, but I know that some people don't handle it very well.
Right.
And my real advice would be honestly, just reach out to someone like me or you and hop on a call with someone who you see is doing well and is a young person, right? And to ask them like, and use their advice to make you feel better about the situation, right? So,
For
I mean,
sure.
yeah, that's kind of my main advice. Just reach out for advice, and then you start to feel more comfortable, and that imposter syndrome goes away. But don't get me wrong, I had a lot of that, man. Like I was getting sent around in my friends group chats right when I started too, and now it's only praise, right? So it goes away at some
Exactly.
point once you start to do really well.
Right. And I feel like a lot of younger people, but anyone in general who starts out in content creation really sees their inexperience as a disadvantage, and they don't want to start because they're not fully educated or they
Hmm.
don't know enough about the topic as others. But there's a psychological term called naive audacity. Like people like Mark Zuckerberg had it. And when you're naive, it almost lets you pioneer and create in the space more than people who are highly educated. So that's one thing that truly fascinates me about you and your rise. A guy who may not have known too much about AI, wasn't an expert or a genius, but you come into a space, you pick up a camera, and you blow up. So if that's not motivation for somebody to start, I don't know what is.
Hmm. 100%, man. And yeah, I mean, again, like you said, like you almost when you look at it from an outsider's perspective and someone who you if you're someone who doesn't feel like you have a lot of knowledge in the space, right? And you want to get into it, like I feel like you almost invent new ideas and come at it from a perspective of I don't really know anything, so I'm gonna try to learn from everyone at the same time, which gives you a new perspective and makes you generate like new ideas, right? That's kind
Right,
of how
for
I see
sure.
it. Yeah.
For sure. What's been your kind of favorite, I don't want to call it a perk, but kind of a perk. What's been your favorite kind of experience or perk of being a creator, being able to chat with other creators, getting brand deals? This experience is relatively new, but
Hmm.
what's been your favorite perk alongside with that?
That's a good question. I guess I'll just say that I mean I was in Dubai last week at an AI conference, and I got invited out there solely because I met someone I met online,
Right.
another kid in the space who's creating content, and from a kid who was creating content in the space, and he invited me out solely because he met me over the internet, and I was a content creator, and he saw me and he saw how much I was rising. And he was like, "Man, I want you to come out and come to this AI conference with me." And that was a super cool experience. So being able to go travel and meet people, and even when I'm there, I mean, some people come up to me and are like, "Man, I recognize you from Instagram. I recognize you from TikTok." Like that stuff. It's so cool. Like
For
seeing people in
sure.
the space come up to me and be like, like that's cool. I've seen your videos, like stuff like that. So just having experiences like that where you get exposed to opportunities that you wouldn't have got exposed to otherwise. Um, but also just being able to hone in on a lot of skills that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't go down this path, right? So
For
like
sure.
when it comes to brand deals, like being able to negotiate, I feel like I had no idea how to negotiate when I got my first brand deal. Like I didn't know what to say. Like when brands
Right.
reached out and they offered me a price, I was just like, yeah, sure. And now I'm like, you have negotiation tactics, you go back and forth, like so stuff like that. Just you learn a ton of skills that you didn't realize you were going to learn, just from being in the space and dealing with a lot of different people and companies and brands
Right.
um, and tools and everything.
Right. That kind of leads to my next question. You've been in this for 6 months now, you said?
Yeah, about I started making content in around April, May. So yeah,
Okay.
about 7 or 8 months now.
So from that 6 months to now, walk me through that monetization process, your first brand deal, and then also like you just mentioned, having to work through the obstacles of negotiation, learn these all these different things. Walk me through that monetization process.
hmm For sure. So when I started making content, I never came from it from the perspective of like, how am I going to make money from this? Right. I really wasn't thinking that. And I think to start, you can't be thinking that or else you're just not going to succeed. Right. Like
Correct.
you need to blur that out at least until I'd say 50,000 followers or even 25,000 followers. And then you can start thinking about different ways, to monetize, but you really just want to start grinding on your content. That's my opinion. And that's kind of what made me grow so fast was I wasn't thinking about anything else other than just making good content. Right.
Right.
So I didn't really know how to monetize at the start. I made a digital product, this prompting toolkit, which I still sell today. And, I wasn't getting a crazy amount of sales from it. And I was like, hey, is this the right way to do it? Do I want to become like a course seller? And I was like, I don't really want to go down that road. I feel like that's a little like, sounds a little scammy. And then I was like, well, I was just going, I was like, well, should I do one-on-one consulting? That might be a good idea. But I was like, well, I felt a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like I might not be able to do some consulting because I didn't know what I was talking about. So I went through all these things, and one of the days I opened my email, and it was like I hadn't really been looking at my personal email through all of this, even though it was on like my account. I had like put my email in my bio, and I got a ton of emails saying like, hey, we want to collab with you. We want to collab with you. We want to collab with you. And I was like, oh my God, wow, maybe I can become like this AI influencer by taking these brand deals. And they were offering me like super low rates at the time. There was brands reaching out, they're like, "I'll pay you $100, I'll pay you $200 to make a video," and that sounded like it sounds good in hindsight. But um, I remember I spoke to my dad, and he said, "Why don't you just these companies are getting millions and millions of dollars in funding. Like, why don't you just email them back and say it's $1,500 for a video or $2,000 for a video, right? Like, try to get some real money out of this because these brands have a ton of money to pay you." And you create valuable content that's really converting, right? So I emailed these brands back and I was like, hey, my rate's $2,000. And a lot of them just replied with, sure, sounds good. And I was like, this is insane. Like, this is like, like I can really be making some serious money here doing this. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, I've been really grinding a lot of these brand deals, but I'm in the process of figuring out how else I want to monetize. And I know there's a big opportunity when it comes to selling digital products or a course or consulting. So I'm kind of moving into those extra revenue streams as of now, but that's just where my head's at with that.
This one. Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No, good
No,
man.
but no, for sure. It's funny because I had pretty much the exact same experience. I think it was around I hit 25K and I had
hmm
no email on my account. And I was like, okay, well, let me just add an email because I actually saw you had an email in your bio for a
hmm
business account. So I added one, and the very next morning it was just a full inbox. And I was like, what the heck? Like you said, they're low rates for sure. But I was like,
For sure, yeah.
that's when it first kicks in. They're like, holy shit, you can monetize this.
100%. And that's exactly what I saw. And I was like, I didn't really realize this was a crazy opportunity at the time. And I mean, as you know, we're in a WhatsApp group chat of a lot of different AI creators. And I remember sending my thing into there and I was like, hey guys, what do you guys charge for brand deals? Like, this is such a new space. And they're all
Yeah.
like, you don't understand. Like you can make serious money doing this. And I was like, so that's the way, I found to monetize my content at like, during this like sweet spot of maybe like 50 to 200,000 followers, like during this range where brands will pay you a lot of money, especially if you have high converting videos. And I think that I'm starting to realize once I'm now moving past that and growing bigger and, approaching people that, don't even know anything about AI, I can
Right.
start moving into a space of selling some my own digital products or some consulting or a course or something like that.
I kind of want to touch on something you mentioned there, though, that when you enter the content game, you can't come into it with the mindset of only doing it for making money. And that kind of that's why I kind of started this podcast. Like, this is no intention to ever make money on this. I'll be fine with it. This is
hmm
personal passion. And I think, like you said, that's so important. You look at like the Joe Rogans of the world, when you come into something with no expectation or want or need for monetization. I mean, the creative process is truly amazing when you're not in the outlook of need of money,
hmm
for
100%.
sure.
Yeah. And no, I definitely understand that some people aren't at that point in life where they can just like, spend hours a day making content and see no upside from it. But and I'm not even saying commit to that for like a super long period of time, right? That might only be like a month, but
Right.
you do need to have it as like a passion and something that you do really enjoy doing at the end of the day in order for you to
Correct.
start making money with it, right?
Correct.
That's kind of where my head's at with it.
You also touched on the creator group me and you are both a
Hmm.
part of. So,
For sure.
how have these AI creators and other creators helped you? What are the ways they've helped you? And how has this group been beneficiary to you?
Hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, the creator group, I got invited by Nate maybe in June or July, and it's been awesome. Like, I mean, any question I have regarding social media growth, brand deals, um, just really anything in general, like the group has been awesome. And there's so many guys in there who I really look up to and that have done so well in the space and have been in it for so much longer than me that it's just a good place to, get knowledge from each other. And I know that there's no like one creator in that group who has more knowledge than everyone else, right? We all have different knowledge about different things, and that's how we're able to help each other. So it's been really good, man. I've learned a lot of great things, and yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, literally any question I have, I drop it in there, and I feel like I get such overwhelming support from all the other creators, which has been absolutely amazing.
For sure. I think there's something so special about like this small group of AI content creators. I mean, there's like 30 or 40 all in this group. It's
Hmm.
truly something amazing. Cause like I don't think you see this, maybe you do, in any other kind of content niche, and we're all on kind of the edge of this mass AI exploration. We're
Hmm.
all kind of figuring it out together. And I think that's so cool and special. And I freaking loved being a part of it. So thank you again for allowing me to join that.
Of course, man. Yeah. I mean, you've been awesome. I know you've contributed to it. So it's yeah, it's been great. And I always want to invite guys like you and obviously the same thing that Nate did with me. He like spots someone who's up and coming who I know is going to be crushing it in a couple of months and get them in there so that, these guys and guys like me can help you grow and share the tips that I've used, in my success, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's been the group chat's been awesome. And to touch on what you said about how we're kind of all in this together. It's so true, right? I mean, you look at any other niche. Let's just say travel or fitness, right? Let's say the fitness niche, right? There's so many different creators that I feel like they're all competing against each other. Whereas
Right.
we're in a niche right now where we're the only AI creators in the space, so we're not really like technically we're competing against each other, but at the same time, there's so many people that are interested in it, so we have enough people to go around and we can
Right.
share, right? And we all know that we're not trying to compete against each other because we're all we're all picking up different audiences because there's so many people who are interested in it and there's not enough creators yet, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind
Yeah,
of
the demand for creators is way higher than the AI education that's out there
a
right
hun-
now.
100%. 100%. And that's why you see every AI creator just absolutely exploding so fast because it's
Mhm.
like you get into it and yeah, like you said, the demand's crazy, but the supply is just not there. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a crazy space. It's fun to be a part of. Like this is kind of like our little corner of the internet. It feels like there's
Hmm.
like 30 or 40 guys all kicking ass. Know that there's 8 billion people in the world that can consume their content. We're not necessarily fighting. Obviously, there's a subconscious like, okay, this guy's kind of not competition, but in retrospect, we're all going after the same goal. But
Hmm.
also that community is amazing, and I've not seen anything like it.
100%. Yeah, I'm on the same page. And it
Absolutely
even and
amazing.
even that, like when we share videos with each other in there, and it's just awesome to see us support each other on our videos. I mean, as you know, like the more engagement you get on a video, the better it tends to do. So, and I know that you've definitely experienced that with some of your biggest videos, right? Like when it comes to reposts and even big creators commenting, like
Right.
when you've had a couple of your big videos talking about the best AI creators, like how valuable it is to see them repost and comment and just reshare it on their stories and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's yeah, the engagement's great.
I kind of want to take this back to kind of what we touched on at the beginning because I don't want this to just be on AI, but also the
Hmm.
creator. Because I mean, there's going to be a lot of young people listening to this, and like, if I could tell me 6 months ago all the things we're talking about right now, it'd be so beneficial because so
Hmm.
many people want to start, but they have bottlenecks they feel like they can't get over. So, what do you think is like the biggest misconception of creating content in 2025? Like, what do you think people are misconcepted about creating content?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I think that people. think it's really hard when in reality it's really not that hard, and you don't need to be perfect when creating content, right? Like I think I'm a good example of this, where you have someone who just picks up the phone, throws on the TikTok, like films it on TikTok, throws up a green screen in the back, like throws up a TikTok filter green screen, and can make content that does millions and millions of views, right? Like,
Right.
and nothing against a lot of the guys that do the higher edited content, like that completely works and that's awesome. But I don't think you need that in order to succeed, right? And if you're someone who wants to go down that path, great. And those guys have seen crazy amounts of success, but I don't think that that's a necessity anymore for creating really viral content and getting brand deals and growing your channel, right? So I
Sure.
think that's one of the bigger misconceptions, is that you need to spend a lot of time on your videos. And I know that you're obviously experimenting with some of the higher edited stuff nowadays, I've seen. And it looks like it's working out really well. And I just want to say congrats on your 500,000 view Instagram video. That's awesome, man. I saw
Appreciate
that.
you, boss.
And the 1,000 followers today, which is awesome. But obviously that's working for you right now. And you've obviously seen a lot of success with my style of content as well. So I
Correct.
just think that's a big misconception. You don't need to make it as hard as it seems to be, right? Just pick up the phone and talk about anything that you find interesting, right?
I 100% agree. I think people, they think production quality and quality for say of content is a necessity, when it's really just a personal opinion. Like you just said, I've experimented with your style and kind of Sabrina's and Nate's, that real sit down, not very high production quality. The value is there and gets millions and millions of views. I've had one that hit, I think, 2 million doing exactly that. And my personal opinion, like, I really like the production quality. I like the
I get
edits.
it.
You know what I mean? So it's completely
I get
personal
it, man.
opinion. Yeah.
I might be switching to that pretty soon as well. Like I love it. Like I love it's my style of, like, if you looked at my Instagram feed, like that's the style of content that I actually enjoy watching myself, right?
Right.
Where it's faster edits, higher, screen recordings and split screen content and stuff. So yeah, I get it, man. But people love the pure value from,
For sure.
just talking to the camera. Like you're totally right. So I think that's a big misconception, to answer your
For sure.
question.
That's a massive misconception, is thinking that
Yeah.
you need the quality. You can literally just sit down, grab your phone, not be an expert in an area, but learn with your audience as you go. And that's what I truly think you've done amazing, is kind of learned with your audience as you went. For sure, you know so much more about AI right now than when you first picked up the camera. And each video you make, whether it performs well or doesn't, you've learned something along with your audience, which kind of keeps them there along for the ride on this
100%.
AI learning. Yeah. Because there's so
100%.
much, there's a rapid amount of AI knowledge coming out. You know what I mean? So for you to learn it along with your audience, that community is so strong, and you've blown up because of it.
100%. And I remember saying this to you when you first started and we first got on a call together. Preaching, I really preach being very energetic in your videos, right? And I think if you're going to go down a route that I took with the sit down value driven content, you need to be extremely energetic, right? You need to have a lot of enthusiasm. You need to, whether you know what you're talking about or not, you need to act like you know what you're talking about and speak with this crazy level of authority and confidence. And that's what's going to get people to listen to you, right? So that's one of my bigger tips when starting off and creating content. Like you said, a lot of the younger guys who want to start are going to be watching this. And that's one of my biggest pieces of advice that I preach to absolutely everyone, is just you need to be energetic. You need to be positive.
Sure.
People want to watch someone that they feel like they can relate to, and that's happy and that's excited and really cares about what they're talking about.
Right. And for sure, with the kind of raw, more unedited, kind of lower production quality, that higher exaggeration is what's going to keep the clicks, as well as kind of, you have to over exaggerate in front of camera, period, because an over exaggeration sometimes looks like an under exaggeration. So you really have to, like you said, get out there. And that's just learning. I mean, the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it.
For sure. 100%. I agree with you completely.
Now, what's your process of creating videos? Kind of walk me through that. Where do you get your ideas? What's your schedule looking like? Are you batch filming? Kind of walk me through the process.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess I'll just start off and say that in regards to more advice with that, I think that filming on TikTok, like if TikTok's the platform that you're posting on, or Instagram's your main platform, I like starting on TikTok because it's such a an easy platform to get views, and it doesn't prioritize creators who have a ton of followers, right? Like you can have 5 followers and still make videos as good as someone who has millions of followers, right? And the algorithm is so good like that. So in regards to filming and content ideation, like right when I started making content, finding what's already worked is so valuable, right? Like
For sure.
you don't need to reinvent the wheel here with content. And once you get to a certain size, like me, maybe you can start, trying out new things in different videos. But at the start, like the reason that prompting video that CIA prompt video did so well was because I saw someone else's video who had the same green screen in the background, and I just changed the prompt and did the exact same video, and it worked. It's all about content strategy. I call it like content strategy, being able to see what's already worked, go back in time, find someone who did a video find one of my videos from 5 months ago and recreate it, right? Obviously don't copy it, don't don't take it word for word, but when you're filming videos, like you're allowed to take ideas and paraphrase them and make similar content, and that's completely fine, and that's what works, right?
For
So
sure.
yeah, but then in regards to how I do content now, I still film a lot of my stuff directly inside of TikTok, and save it within my TikTok drafts, and it's really similar to what I used to do. Like I've been better about making my content faster and cutting dead spaces in my videos and making the videos a lot quicker, and just I feel like I've seen success with that. Like you want to have the video cut every like 3 to 5 seconds to keep the viewer engaged with the video. But yeah, I'm not really batch filming nowadays. I just film videos when I feel like it and when I'm sitting at my desk and I need to get content done, right? I see ChatGPT launched a new update and I'm like, all right, time to film a video right now. But
Yeah.
I'm very particular about where I film my videos and how the videos sound. And I mean, sometimes I'll re-record the hook 15 times to make sure that it sounds right. Like people don't see that. Like they just think I pick up the camera and record, but I'm
Right.
really re-recording that 3-second clip until I feel like that's the one. Like that's the one that's gonna do well, and that's the one that has got me engaged, so it's gonna get other people engaged.
Right. That
So
obsession over the little things makes a big difference when the full video
100%,
comes together. I've
100%.
redone videos so much, or you
I
mess
know.
something up and you just go like 20 times for a little 3-second clip, especially in short form.
100%, and that's really what you need to do, right? Some of these videos take me hours and hours to film, but all the viewer sees is just 45 seconds of what looks like raw, like I'm just talking to the screen, but that video might have taken me hours, right?
Right.
And everything is perfected in such a way that it's optimized for viewers and for people to be able to watch the whole video all the way through.
Yeah. I think the content creation space is just so overcomplicated. Like you just kind of touched on, like it's not stealing content to use somebody's idea, because people think it's so overcrowded. I can't become a content creator in 2025. They're going to be saying that for 2026 and 2027 when me, you, and the other creators have proved them wrong. You can literally start right now. Like whatever niche you're interested in, just go out there, find winning content ideas, put a spin on it, your own style, and then that will differentiate yourself enough to become a success.
100%. Yeah, you're totally right.
Now,
For
you're
sure.
you're 18 years old, correct?
Correct.
So you're 18 and 6 months. You've done more on social media than some people will ever do because they won't start. So what have you learned about yourself through this journey?
That's a good question. I think I've learned that. That's a really interesting question. What have I learned about myself? I've learned that I do actually really enjoy making content. It's something that I actually do have a passion in. Um, I it's definitely something that I wake up every day thinking, okay, like I'm actually excited to film videos today, right? And there's obviously days where I wake up and I don't feel that way, but I think majority of the time I have a passion for social media and content creation. And don't get me wrong, a part of that comes from waking up and seeing a viral video, and you know that feeling of when when you go to sleep and it's not doing very well and you wake up and the video's popping off and you're like, oh my god, like it makes your heart like skip a beat, like like that's obviously what I still strive for that, don't get me wrong, but that I think a lot of people starting off really get too hooked on that, on like seeing the views and seeing the likes, and obviously it's a great feeling, but you need to just stay consistent in this space. You can't, like, when it comes to content creation, like I've had bad months, right? Like
Right.
my TikToks almost a couple months ago, it almost completely fell off. Like I was doing 100, 200 views, 100, 200,000 views per video. And all of a sudden the next month I couldn't even break like a 5,000 views per video. So it ebbs and flows, and the trick is just to stay consistent, man. Like I've been posting every single day since June, every single day. I haven't missed a single day. Like you can go through my channel and check. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so consistency is a big thing, but I've learned that I have to back to your question. I think that I've learned that I actually do enjoy what I do, and that is super valuable. I've also learned that, obviously I'm disciplined enough to do it, and it's you have that discipline when it's something that you enjoy doing.
Correct. For
Yeah.
sure. Now, yeah, consistency is for sure so important. Very, very important. Now, like you just touched on, you've had bad months, bad days, some videos that flop. What has helped you emotionally to not get too attached to the views and to continue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just knowing that I can become something so much bigger if I just keep going and don't stop, right? Like sometimes it's hard, man. Like I think it's sometimes some days I see three videos in a row flop, and I'm like, it's over. Like my channel's dying, but I just, at the end of the day, I know that I've been in this spot before, and that's whenever I feel that way, I feel like it's always when my next video just absolutely explodes and pops off. Like you just have to keep going, and I promise you it's going to pay off. Like that's just how content creation works. Like TikTok and Instagram and all these other algorithms credit channels that post consistently, and they'll eventually, show your videos to a lot of people, right?
Right. For sure. Yeah, I can touch on that for sure as well. Like we just talked on, the Instagram just popped off. My TikTok has been good for 3 months. Instagram, absolutely awful.
There you go.
And what I kind of found in that was consistency is important, but if you're not listening to what the statistics are telling you, and you're not changing based on what works and what doesn't work, then you're going to stay stuck. So my TikTok
100%.
was working with that style, but my Instagram was not. So as long as I ignored that and just kept pushing it, yeah, I was being consistent, but there was no success at all.
For sure. And have you ever felt that way where, you have maybe a month or a couple weeks of bad videos, and you're like, this is falling apart, and
sure.
And right when you feel that way, it just bounces back, and you obviously have a video that hits 500,000 views on Instagram, and your Instagram's probably going to hit 10,000 followers within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it was this week actually, that moment on Instagram. I was like, man, should I just quit Instagram, just be like a TikTok creator? And then I was like, nah, let me try a little bit higher editing quality. I really like that. I was like, let me just do it, and I'm going to change my approach. I'm going to stick with the podcast, and boom, one video just popped up. So definitely, when you're in the drought, if you keep going, you're going to get to an oasis.
100%. And I saw that ChatGPT reposting helps, and OpenAI, and
sure.
That's awesome. Whenever that type of stuff happens, and we have these bigger brands and massive brand social media channels in our space, whether you're working with them or just talking about their tool or product, like that, it really helps, obviously, when they support you and share your videos and stuff. I've definitely noticed that.
So tell me a little bit about like your experience with working with these big brands like ChatGPT. I know you've worked with some other large ones. What has that been like?
It's been super good. And I honestly, I find that I think a lot of the guys who do brand deals in the space would say the same thing. Like working with the bigger brands is so much easier than some of the smaller guys. And some of the smaller guys tend to nitpick a little bit and have you redo certain parts of the video. And it's just really refreshing when you work with a bigger brand who trusts your creative direction in the video, right? And they know that you're the one that knows the best when it comes to this, and that they want you to make the best video that you know how to make, rather than some of these other little guys, like they think they know what they're doing, and they have all these briefs set up, and you have to say all these different things, and those videos never end up doing well. But when you give the creator creative direction in these videos, they're always going to do better. That's how I look at it. And I've honestly started saying no to a lot of brands that require me to follow a specific script that they say, or anything that I don't feel comfortable doing as a creator that would take away my own creative direction. I'm just, it really doesn't really matter how much the money is. Like it's just, if it takes away from my brand and what I enjoy talking about, what I enjoy filming, like I'm just not going to work with them.
For sure. So if you're a little brand watching, let the creators have creative freedom. Let them have creative freedom.
It's yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. Like you're working with them on the videos that you've already seen from them that have already worked and that they've created themselves, right?
Right.
So why would you take that away from them?
For sure.
I don't,
So
yeah.
you've used so many AI tools, like you just mentioned, OpenAI, ChatGPT. You've worked with all these different brands. What are your kind of from working with all these tools? What are your top 5 AI tools right now that are
Ooh,
you're actually using?
that's a good question. I might not be able to give you a top five. I can maybe give you a top three, but
Okay,
okay. Number one, ChatGPT, and I know that Gemini 3 just launched, and Gemini is probably actually one of them. I've been starting to use Gemini a lot, but realistically, my opinion on different LLMs and what tool you should be using really boils down to I, at the end of the day, I think they're all so similar, and you kind of get looped into an ecosystem of one of them when you start using it. And for me, that just happened to be ChatGPT. Obviously, I talk about ChatGPT a lot, so I end up just using it in my videos because it's what I talk about. But I feel like you get looped into an ecosystem, and that's the way that I kind of am with ChatGPT, right? Like it knows everything about me. I have my master prompt. I have my custom instruction set. It has all the memory of every chat I've ever used with it, and it's probably thousands of chats. So yeah, to answer your question, ChatGPT is definitely one of them. Gemini's been a new one for me. I mean, Gemini 3 is insane, right? I mean,
for sure.
you've probably checked it out yourself. So I've kind of swapped over into Gemini. I was using Claude for some of my like writing and research stuff, but I've kind of moved over to Gemini. I think it's a lot more useful, and prompting it's obviously a little different, but I'm getting the hang of it. Um, and then let's see, what other AI tools do I use for? I'm trying to think of ones for what I use for content creation. I use a ton of different things for. I mean, obviously being a creator and getting these brand deals, like you get free credits on a lot of different tools. So I try a bunch of different ones out. But yeah, man, I'm trying to think of AI tools that I'm using at the moment. I've got a little list here I can pull up. What are your top three tools? Like what are you using at the moment?
So number one right now is definitely Perplexity. For the
Hmm.
work that I do, really deep research, learning about creators, their stories, founders. Like I just did a video on Cursor. Perplexity has really helped in that. So my
Hmm.
number one is Perplexity. My number two would be ChatGPT, and then three would be Claude. Those are probably
Hmm.
the top three that I actively use every single day.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great list. Perplexity's awesome. I haven't Perplexity and Grok are probably the two that I haven't dabbled around with like as much
Hmm.
as some of the other tools. But I remember when I first started, I was using Perplexity for a lot of my school stuff, like my school research, and it was really good for that, like doing school assignments and stuff, and just understanding specific topics, and learning about specific people or whatever.
Right.
So 100%, I agree with you. I've been using I kind of go back and forth with my vibe coding tools. I used Lovable for a while, and then I went to Bolt for a while, and now I'm using Replit a lot. I really like Replit's new mobile app. Um, I got sponsored to do a video for them on the app, but I actually was using it to like make some stuff for my parents' brand, which is pretty cool. So I actually have been using Replit a lot. So I guess I'll put Replit in my three. Like I think it's been they have a really awesome tool, and
Yeah, Replit
it,
is super cool. It's super
yeah,
cool.
it is super awesome for sure. And it's just for like, I mean, I just use some of those stuff for like little assignments and like even making dashboards for some of my like for analyzing some of my analytics of my content. Like the dashboard
Mm.
stuff is super useful.
Have you seen that new slide generator and infographics on Notebook LM? Have you used that yet?
I haven't, but
It's
I
absolutely
saw some videos
insane.
about it. Really? I
Yeah,
gotta check
it's
it. I gotta
crazy
check it out.
for what you're talking about of like creating dashboards, especially for like analytics and explaining. Like I saw Justin, he made a video and he put in a link to a YouTube video that Roberto Nixon did with Greg Eisenberg, and it just spit out this beautiful infographic from that whole entire video explaining the whole thing in one picture. It was absolutely insane.
Hmm. Wow, that's awesome. Dude, it's so hard to keep up with everything that's coming out. I mean, obviously, I feel that everyone feels the same way, and like
For sure.
everyone's gonna be like, dude, you're in the AI space, like you should be keeping up with everything. But in reality, dude, like it's so hard. I mean, we have so much different, like so much stuff coming out, and I'm making videos left and right. Like it's even hard for me as a content creator to keep up with as an AI content creator to keep up with all these different tools. So,
A
but
thousand percent.
and it's really
What
you go.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's so many like little tools as well that like I just use just for fun, like Music GPT being one of them. Just to like, I'm a big music guy. Like I like my music, and just using tools like that, just being able to create cool things and create music that you wouldn't have ever listened to before. And I have some playlists in there that I listen to and stuff like that. It's just like not I wouldn't say not as practical as probably what people want to hear from me, but just interesting, cool tools that like make my life cooler and easier and just more fun.
The rise of AI music has been insane. Like
I know, dude.
I see AI 50 Cent songs, AI songs come across my For You page all the time. Joe
Mhm.
Rogan was even showing a clip of like an AI jazz song that absolutely blew up. It's
Mhm.
crazy. AI music is insane.
I know. And it sounds really good too. I mean, I'm big into like the electronic stuff, and it makes really good like EDM electronic music. And like, I mean, obviously because it's probably computer generated, it understands it a little more from like from that perspective. But yeah, man, it's been really cool seeing like what AI can do and how it can take over an industry that you would never think AI would ever get into, like
For sure.
music, like.
Yeah, it's
So
absolutely insane.
yeah, for sure.
It's just going to keep expanding as well. Like this week, Google releases Gemini 3. Absolutely insane. Just tops off all of the charts. So
Mhm.
what's been your experience using that, and what do you think about it just coming in and dethroning a lot of these LLMs and a lot of charts?
Listen, I think that this is just going to keep happening, right? Anthropic's going to release a model, ChatGPT is going to release a model. Everyone's just going to keep one-upping each other. That's just how it's going to work. And at the end of the day, like I said, like I feel like once you're looped into an ecosystem of whatever tool you use, right? Like I know a lot of people use Grok, I know a lot of people use Gemini, whatever, right? But um, I think once you're looped into an ecosystem, you don't need to get too caught up on all the different updates and what's coming out because, dude, trust me, in a couple weeks, ChatGPT is going to have a model that's supposedly beats out Gemini, and then Claude releases something. So my opinion is don't get too into the loop about all these different models that are coming out. It's like, you know, but Gemini 3 is really good. To to answer your
Yeah,
question, I've heard from a coding perspective too. It's really it's nuts as well. So I haven't tested it
yeah,
out for that, but
it's
what
pretty good. And like you said, they're
what's your
just gonna.
experience?
I used it the other day, and now it's integrated with Notebook LM. So, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the infographics and slides are absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Chatting with it, it's I mean, overall, it's just an insane model. It's really
Mm-hmm.
great. But like you said, they're going to keep topping each other until AGI and super
Mm-hmm.
intelligence. It's just going to keep happening.
For sure.
So how do you maintain, like, what's your outlook for the AI creator and AI space in general? Where do you see this going? What's your personal opinion on
Mm-hmm.
AI and this crazy revolution we're on?
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question. I feel like I get asked this a lot when I do like live streams and stuff, and my answer is kind of the same, which is like I feel like I'm on the same page as everyone else, which is like I don't really know. Like
Right.
I don't think I don't think anyone really knows, and I try not to think about it because I just I try to just not think about not try dive too deep into the future about this stuff because it's changing so fast and all these new tools are coming out, and eventually we're just gonna hit AGI, and it's just I don't
Gonna
know.
be yeah.
I have a theory that the world's just going to explode at some point, and it's all gonna come together and combust and just just explode. But I don't know, man. It's scary, but also really interesting at the same time. I mean, I saw some of these like neo humanoids that are being released and stuff like that. Like obviously utilizing AI in that space is super cool, and I know people are gonna have different opinions about those things, but I think that they're really gonna change the way we live our lives.
For
And
sure.
yeah, I'm just hoping that we can benefit from it more than it's going to affect us. But I mean, who
Yeah.
knows, man? I'm just riding this train right now as much as I can, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think
I don't think anyone can predict it.
I think right now, like we're in a phase in which we're creating the brain. Like AI is just getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and the next phase of this is going to be creating the body, which is going to be robotics. And I like
Hmm.
Tesla releasing Optimus, like you said, the Neo robotics. I think that's the next phase of this is mass production of AI robotics that are going to have those LLM brains, and it's going to be absolutely insane once that happens.
Hmm. 100%. I completely agree with you. Well,
Yeah.
dude, it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes. And we're so young, and you're 17, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got a lot of years trying to see, and it's going to
for
be interesting
sure.
because we're going to be able to keep up with it. Obviously, being in the AI space, like we watch the news and see what's going on with everything. But I don't know, man. It's a
It's
wild
insane.
world we live in.
I think
And
that's
who?
why there's so much community though around these AI creators. People just want somebody to learn with. It's so
Hmm.
confusing, so kind of like overwhelming how many tools are coming out. So if you have somebody like you who's researching, making videos on it, and like you said, learning along with everyone else, you're a human. You don't know the answers to all these huge questions, but people want to learn alongside you, and that community is super powerful.
Hmm. 100%. And yeah, for sure. And I feel like there's, again, we talked about the supply and demand here, right? There's so much demand for people talking about AI, and people want to know what's going on, and no one, everyone doesn't know what's happening, and no one can keep up with anything. And I feel like having these creators that you go to, and when you're scrolling social media, just seeing guys like me, guys like you, maybe you prefer, other AI creators, but as long as you have someone that, you're gaining this information from, and you want to keep learning about it along the way, then it's super valuable.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think your next chapter is? If I flip the page on Maverick Maltin's life, what do you want the next chapter to look like? What are you speculating? What do you think this next phase in your life is going to look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so honestly, I've started thinking about that a lot recently, and I feel like these last 3 months have just been really like head down, make some money with brand deals. Not really like like I haven't even like optimized my stand store, like which is like my lead magnet thing, in a while, and I've just kind of been head down with all this stuff. So I'm kind of at the point now, and I think maybe because the new year's coming up, and I want to kind of flip the page next year in regards to this. So I think that, like I said at the start, I want to move away a little bit from the from the brand deals and start an extra income source, whether that be optimizing my digital product, starting a community. I've really thought about doing that. So, or doing some more like consulting one-on-one. I've thought about doing in-person workshops, going around, traveling around the country and giving in-person workshops. So, I mean, I'll ask anyone watching this video, drop in the comments, what you want to see me do. But
For
I'm in
sure.
the process of figuring that out right now. And in regards to like a longer term perspective, right? Like, I think there's only so many people interested in AI right now. And I know we talked about this in the group chat the other day, how kind of the TAM here is around like 150K, and everyone's kind of capping out right there from a follower perspective. And I think that's when you have to realize that you need to start shifting a little bit less about AI and more into, this is your personal brand, right? And
1000%.
doing some content surrounding maybe your life or different hobbies that you find interesting, because as much as I can talk about AI, there's only so many people that are interested in AI, and it is still so niche right now, and we don't really realize that because we're in it, but it is so niche. Like, no one knows anything about it, no one's even watching anything about it. Like,
Right.
so I think you need to start pivoting, and obviously the AI market's going to keep growing, so you can grow with the AI market. But if you really want to go from like not growing it 50,000 followers a year to growing it hundreds and hundreds of thousands or millions of followers a year, you need to pivot into a more personal brand and people wanting to watch you, not just AI.
1000%. And what you touched on, like community, like in person, I feel like that's going to be so huge over the next 5 to 10 years, that in person element to what we're doing. I think
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see like sports are going to rise crazy, in person workshops, anything that has to do with in person, because people are getting tired of being behind the screen. They want to connect with human on a human level. So in person, anything I feel like is going to go through the roof over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I think we're already seeing that, like with sporting events selling out, and founders clubs and run clubs and everything that involves in-person activity and socialization. Like, we're just losing that, man. So I think we're gonna we're
1000%.
gonna we're gonna see a lot more of that. And obviously, taking your brand and moving into that space makes a lot of sense, right? Like, maybe I can start, yeah, like you said, like an in-person community, or doing these workshops, or something where I can get out into the real world instead of just being behind the screen is going to help.
For sure. What are your what do your parents think of all this? 18-year-old Maverick doing absolutely insane, over 200,000 followers in less than a year. It's
Hmm.
insane, man. What did they
Yeah,
what did they think?
they think it's awesome. They're really cool, and they advocate for me, and they want to see me do well. And honestly, like, I don't they don't we don't even talk about me and what I'm doing very much. Like, they don't. It's not that they don't care, but they just they've got their things going on, and I think they trust that I'll figure it out and that it'll work out for me, which is kind of my mindset at the end of the day. Like, I have full belief that everything's going to work out for me, and that whether I stay in this AI content creation or move into a personal brand or delete all my social media channels, I think I'll figure out something and it'll work out in the long run. So I have full belief in that,
Oh,
which I think is really
1000%.
important.
Yeah, what you've already done in a year is insane. Whatever,
Hmm.
I have confidence that in whatever area you choose to go next, whether it's in-person workshops or like you said, coaching, whatever it is, you're going to find success in it. And
Hmm.
that's because you've built up the foundation, like you said, not getting emotional with viral videos, videos that flop. That's all core fundamentals for you to succeed in virtually anything.
100%. This is why I told you to start this podcast, because I have faith in you that you're going to do really well with this, and I think that it's going to be awesome. And I want to do an in-person one at some point.
Oh, 1000%. We need to fly
Yeah,
you out to Texas. We can do it in
yeah,
person.
dude. I love Texas. I'll fly out anytime. Let me
For
know.
sure. Yeah, that's my goal with this podcast as well. Is like you mentioned, the personal branding aspect. Us
Hmm.
creators, we're always talking about AI, and that next move forward is personal branding. And I want to expose that to all the world for us by just having long form conversation and just getting to be ourselves.
100%. And dude, podcasts are absolutely exploding right now. And I mean, obviously, this whole AI podcast thing is also a big thing. And I've taken some brand deals with some companies that do like AI podcasts, and those have been doing really well. And who knows, maybe you'll pivot down a train where you might not even have to be uh, actually interviewing people. I mean, like we said, it's probably smart with the whole like not using AI and having real world experiences and real talking to real humans. But who knows, man? I mean, this is such a scalable business for you, and I think that I think that you're going to do really well. And it's such again, we're in this niche where it's so small, but also the people who are in it want a ton of information, right? So I
For
feel like
sure.
a podcast is almost the perfect outlet for someone to learn this stuff, because
For
they're
sure.
looking they're not looking for like a 10-second entertaining video about some guy lifting weights. They actually want to like watch, watch an hour long clip or even a 5-minute TikTok video explaining what's going on.
For sure. And I think that's so important to get the full context on things. Like we have such a lack of context right now in the world of social media. You just see what you see on clips and you believe it at face value instead of going back and looking at the context. So podcasts really help to give the full context of a person, their beliefs, whatever it might be. Podcasting really helps with that.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah, and that's why
For
I think
sure.
you're gonna kill it.
I appreciate it, boss.
Of
All
course,
right,
man.
Maverick. So, one piece of advice to an 18, 17-year-old creator, anyone who wants to start, one piece of advice to end this off for them to start their creator journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good one. I just think you really just have to do what you enjoy doing. And again, this is like, it's a little cliche, and I know that like a lot of people say it, but I think it's important coming from someone who is young and is anyone who listening to this, your guys' age, right? Like I was in the exact same shoes as you. Like I am in college, or I'm not anymore, but I was in college. Or I mean, I was just a senior in high school like a year ago, right? Like I'm not too much further than anyone here. That's anyone that's really young listening to this. And you just have to you have to start, right? You have to get over the imposter syndrome, and it's going to take time. And if this podcast helps you, then great. But do the things that are going to that are going to help you get rid of it, because it's so important, and you need to drop it, right? Like you just have to start creating content, if that's obviously what you want to do. But you just have to start somewhere, and you have to start with something that you actually enjoy doing, and you can't think about the money, and you can't that can't you can't look at your views, you can't look at your likes, you can't look at any of that. You have to just do it because you actually enjoy doing it, and I promise you that it's going to work out. Like
For sure.
I'm a living example of that, right? Like I started off, and it was something that I was like, I don't have an internship this summer, and I was like, what do I do? And I started making content, and if you scroll down to my TikTok, those videos are still out, man. They're terrible.
Yep.
They're really they're really bad, and that's why they only got 500 views. And then finally, I had a video that I did some content strategy, I did some content research, I found what worked, replicated it in my own style, and it exploded. And then that was kind of my style moving forward. I invented this new like this ChatGPT prompt, talking about ChatGPT prompts, showing cool ChatGPT prompts, and that was what you only need, like a small audience. You need a small thing that works, and you can just ride with it the entire way.
Exactly. That kind of goes back to the naive audacity thing. Like you're a naive, like you don't know kind of what's going on, but you can pioneer the space because of your lack
Hmm.
of knowledge. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't overthink it. Just start and do the thing for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, and again, like you said, like you don't need a crazy amount of knowledge to start, right? I mean, I'm not going to tell you to go start a fitness page if you've never lifted a weight, right? But you really don't need that much. Like, I mean, you can honestly, you can share your journey from lifting your first weight and starting, you know, and going to the gym the first time and starting from there, because people are in the same boat as you and want to see that you know, see your progression over time. And I think that's kind of where I started. I didn't know anything about AI, and I'm still learning about AI, right? Like, I wouldn't call myself an AI genius or an AI expert. I don't think anyone really is. It's such a changing industry, and no one really knows what's going on. And that's why people like to learn with the people that that's what people want to learn with, people that they feel like they're on the same page on, right?
For sure.
So
That's so important. Like, no one's an expert in this. So in a space where no one's an expert because it's always changing, the people that step out and be creative with that are the ones who are going to succeed, because no one's an expert. That's so important.
For sure. And one last thing, which is like, I think that you can almost find a loophole in whatever niche that you're going in. Not a loophole, but like a what's it called? Like a little crack in whatever niche you're going into, right? Like for me, for example, I was like, should I go into the AI space? So I did a little bit of research into it, like what creators are doing really well, what they're talking about, and I was like, wait a second. Why is no one just talking about how to use ChatGPT, how to set up an account with ChatGPT, how to set up a project with ChatGPT, right? Like, everyone's talking about these complex AI tools that obviously a lot of people are interested in, but there's 700 million weekly ChatGPT users, and a lot of them don't even know what to do. That's their first time using the platform. So I was like, there's a little crack here where I can be like, okay, what if I position myself as someone who's really beginner in using this tool, and people relate with that, and they were like, wow, like, you know, like, I really do need to know how to set up a project inside of ChatGPT. It's so simple to guys like me and you, but there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to do that, right? And we'll learn that, and we want to learn how to do that. So
yeah, you found your niche for sure, and you executed on it very well.
100%. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you, Maverick. This has been,
course, man,
an amazing conversation.
This has been awesome. I'm excited to see this go live. And what's your plan with the podcast? What is it? What do you?
Yeah, so I mean, I love podcasting.
What's your outlook look like?
I really value, like I kind of mentioned, the conversation. I think if we don't have conversation, if we're not talking, if there's no conversation, problems happen, as well as context. I really don't like when people take things at face value for, say, clips, short form content. It's kind of a detriment to our mental, our psychology. So I really love podcasting because it gives full context, and it's more on that personal human level. So like the closest thing we could do, I mean, the best thing we could do is an in-person podcast, right? Obviously we're doing it online, but podcasting is the closest thing you can get to online right now to that real human interaction.
100%. I think you're gonna do really well, man. I think, again, like I said, like, this is the perfect niche for starting something like this, because people want this information so badly, but they have no idea where to get it.
Right. So, and I'm on my journey. Like, this podcast was probably awful in the structure. I'm trying. It's only my first one, so just give me time. Just like I learned short form, I'm pretty sure I'll learn
man.
this.
I just said, scroll down to the bottom of my TikTok and you're going to be surprised. My videos were terrible.
People are going to scroll down to this first podcast, so it's going to be a mess.
100%. Nah, man, I appreciate you inviting me on. This was really cool.
Yes, sir, for sure. All right, thanks, man.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll talk soon. All right,
yes,
bye.
Sir.